position. Annie Power at the last fly. He's down. Annie Power has gone but in front of the last length. Melanie Long.
Try the first time. They're running up towards the finish, and he's mistaken the winning post. He's mistaken the winning post completely. Roger Loughlin and high fly
from Archibald. Hardy Eustace defends his title from Archibald, who's flattened out his second. Then he's followed up by Marcus beginning to come. He's drifting off a true line. He's fire. And this must be home. Shergar's going to win his fourth Betfair chase, and Cordo Star is still the king. Cordo Star wins.
Hello and welcome to another episode of TailedOff, episode number 30. As a reminder, this is a no holds barred podcast that dives headfirst into the wonderfully weird world of horse racing. Joined with Duncan. How you doing, mate? You good?
Buongiorno. All good. All good. We are missing Mr. Anorak again, the second week on the trot.
I think he's back next week, isn't he?
He is back in the game, so we look forward to hearing his tales of Anorak, as he likes to do. We'll look forward to
that's
his
why all the
return.
pods have been a bit shorter.
I know, exactly that. We can get through him quickly when he's not around.
He'll come back firing, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Right, well, we've got a few things to cover today. So we'll do an update on Trainers in Form. And as a reminder, for those that haven't seen the first podcast that we did on Trainers in Form, go back and watch it because it's quite interesting. We've got a nice little strategy that we went through. It's a bit different, shall we say, in terms of looking at the form and picking your winners. So we'll give an update on how we're doing. We've made good progress over the last couple of weeks. We'll cover the news, Anorak Corner, Stewards Enquiry, and then we'll get into the old Charlie Hall Day selections. And then we've got Breeders' Cup starting in a couple of days. So we'll go through that and maybe pick a couple of winners as well. Oh, yeah, don't count on it.
Don't rely on me for winners, mate. I don't do that.
Right, Trainers in Form then. So as a reminder, this was an interesting strategy that we spoke about. I think it was the first ever pod. So go back and watch it. It's quite interesting. It's a bit of a different approach to picking some horses, and it's literally focusing on trainers that are in form, believe it or not. And obviously there's a few other things that you can look at when you're looking at the form and looking at, each of the races. We've had a pretty good couple of weeks, haven't we? So we had 2 wins, 2 places from the last tips. And because the odds are pretty, I don't know, they're over like 6, 7s, aren't they? So if you get a nice outsider, it ramps up the P&L quite a lot. We had a 10-1 winner last week, which was pretty big for the pod. Were you on that one?
I was indeed, yeah. I had a small amount on that, which was nice, just a little each way at 10-1, which was lovely.
Yeah, lovely.
Can't
Just her
complain.
type in Fosslas.
It was Fosslas. We had another one today, didn't we, that unfortunately did not go on to place. So it's slightly down from that.
Slightly down,
Gutting
but
as it is, but I'll let you give the update on the actual figures.
I mean, it's a new record for sure. So from 66 selections, we're up 76.98. Let's call it 77 points, which is a new record. Because of the unplaced today, it's gone down to 75. But 75 is a nice way to finish the week. So
yeah,
that means if you put £1 on every horse using the Trainers in Form, you'd get 75 quid back pretty much. So
100%. So if you're doing it to a tenner, you're 750 quid up. Job done.
That'll do.
Take it all day, wouldn't you?
This is not your capital is at risk, and this is not investment advice. But
exactly, this is not. This is definitely not investment advice.
And previous performance is no indication of future returns.
Exactly that. It's like you know what you're talking about now.
I know. Yeah, I've been stung before, mate. I've been stung before.
Haven't we all?
Good. Well, yeah, thanks, El, for giving us an update on that. And we'll keep everyone updated. It'd be good to see a full year's worth, I think, to see how we get on, because then you get the old peaks and troughs, don't you? So
yeah. When did we start it? The first pod was what? Is it January or was it later than Jan?
I think we started
Cheltenham, wasn't it?
Pretty much after we did the first episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been, I think we've probably done about, 10 months or something like that.
Yeah, 9 or 10 months.
Obviously, we don't post every week or every month, but, I think Elle's trying to do a bit more regular ones so you don't sort of skew the results. Right, let's get on to the news then. So, Cheltenham Festival. This was something I think we raised a couple of weeks ago, actually, didn't we? Was it a video, actually, that we posted? I can't remember.
There's something that's been flying around for quite a while, this rumblings, because obviously the festival at the moment is from a Tuesday to a Friday for the kind of the more hardcore race goers. And obviously there's talk of moving it, and it seems to have picked up a little bit of pace, but run through it, my man, run through it. Tell the listeners they want to wear.
It's interesting. There's been a few videos on social media of, I can't remember his name now. What is it? CEO of Guy Lavender, that's it.
Yeah.
Talking about potentially moving from current schedule, so Tuesday to Friday, moving to Wednesday to Saturday. So trying to get people in at the weekend, basically, which is how you see most of the race meets. And I don't know, I think it's a good thing to explore. Why not? I think it's a good thing to test. Good for the sport if you can get more people in. But those traditionalists probably,
I'm going to become an Anorak.
let's say like yourself and
Elle's Anorakism is now waving up on me here. I'm very much against it.
probably don't agree. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's something, why not, to test. I think the lower attendance figures are worrying, but they're starting to come back from lockdown. They're also made some changes already, haven't they, to limit attendance to 65,000 per day, which means there's a bit more space for people getting your pints and everything. I thought it was pretty good, actually, last year. I can't remember the attendance that we went on was it Tuesday?
I'm trying to think what it was. It didn't
over 30.
It was quite nice, though. I don't know what you thought in terms of like years we've gone previously. I mean, before lockdown and things like that, where it was just, there was no limits on how many people could go in there. And, you know, it was like sardines in certain areas when you were around in like club and things like that. You couldn't get a drink for love nor money, and you couldn't move for love nor money. So the fact that they've kind of reduced those numbers down to 65, I think is good, because it just gives people a hell of a lot more space to be able to move around in and access things by having more bars available. So I think that in itself, they haven't even given that a chance yet to kind of take effect and see what happens with that. So I think that before they start throwing around these ideas of discussing or even, you know, looking at Wednesday to Saturday, let's see what happens with this first. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing.
I get it. I think they're, you know, as with most sporting events, they're under pressure to make more money, to drive up, you know, more people of interest, get more people through the door. But the argument could be, if they don't either increase attendance or find a way to do that, they'll just put up prices, and then those that currently go will just be paying more.
I mean, prices have gone up. I mean, you just look at the price of a pint there. I mean, they've dropped it this year by 30p, or for next year 30p. Yeah, brilliant. 30p. But, you know, it's still £7.80, £8 a pint, which isn't exactly cheap. But they must be making money hand over fist all the same. And I think Saturday was just going to, I personally think it would dilute it more.
Yeah. And you got, I think it could conflict with other sporting, sort of regular sports. You know, whether it's rugby or cricket or football, whatever it is, you know, it's going to conflict with a lot of that, isn't it? And then you're having the opposite effect. Instead of having the growth and having new people get to the sport, you could argue that those that already have a sport that they prefer may not be going. You know, what do you do?
Exactly that. I mean, you've got the Six Nations, the final game of the Six Nations. So if they looked at it, if you were looking at it for 2026, the final Six Nations match will be on that weekend that they would potentially move Cheltenham to the Saturday. So you're going to have people that would be either watching that or potentially going to those games. You've then got Premier League fixtures, which are all going to be on. People are going to be in the pubs watching them. You know, where do you see horse racing fitting into that? You know, they're trying to say it's like a peak sporting event type thing, which it obviously is, but leave it as it is. Like, you get enough people watching it and going to it as it, you know, as a thing. I think it just will potentially ruin it even more by moving, say, like if they move the Gold Cup to the Saturday and it's competing against these other things, you're not going to get the same amount of viewing, in my opinion. I think it's wait and see. I wouldn't even discuss it at this stage.
Good debate though. Yeah.
It is.
So I guess we'll see how that goes. I think, is it Mick Fitzgerald and Tom Scudamore against the changes?
Yeah, they spoke about it
verbally
on Saturday. Yeah, they spoke about it. They had Rishi, who was leading the morning, the ITV morning show, and they were talking about this whole piece, and that's when they did the interview with Guy Lavender, and both of them were saying like it's crazy to try and move it to that, because you're interfering with other sports for something that's not even on that stage of like football or even rugby. There's no point in trying to encourage it by moving to that point when it's not going to get the airtime that those other events do. So there we go. What do I know?
Well, we'll watch that space, and I'm sure we'll definitely discuss it if anything gets agreed, especially when we're going as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Should we talk about Toby Moore?
Yeah, like father, like son. So Ryan Moore, who we mentioned, I think about 3 or 4 podcasts ago now, he was out injured and was missing the rest of the flat season. But it hasn't stopped his son, Toby Moore, who made his debut at Kempton last night, and time of recording, so it would have been Wednesday, in the 450 for a Godolphin runner. called Valdocchia. I think it's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
It was a hands and heels ride, to be fair, and pushed the horse out 2.5 lengths, and he actually beat our main man George Wood. Shout out to George, who we've had on the
Right,
pod
George.
before. So he, yeah, I mean, we
Cheers.
didn't ride it, but yeah, so he beat George's horse Archer's Grace pretty convincingly. So could have potentially be another star of the future. It's great to see we've got another young jockey in there now. So be interesting to see how quickly he rides out his claim. So he's currently a £7 claimer, which is where he'll start at as an amateur jockey, and then he'll ride that for, I think it's, I can't remember if it's 10 or 20 winners. Then it'll drop down from £7 to £5, and then I think it's 50, and then it'll drop down to £3, and then after that, I think it's another few winners, and then he loses his claim altogether. So I think he'll be used potentially quite well. Will he be used sparingly? Could be another. Who is it? That's Billy Loughnane, is the other jockey who ran out his claim extremely quickly for George Bowie and co. So this could be another one like that. So, but well done. More great to see.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, good to see it through the family. Right, I know we're talking about the Breeders' Cup a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But Frankie Dettori announced another retirement. I say another one.
I know.
Like, he's already retired.
Changes continents and then just retires at each continent, really. So he's already retired.
He just wants
from the
another
UK.
retirement party.
Exactly. Any excuse for a knees up for that man. Yeah. So Frankie obviously retired from UK racing a couple of years back. He went over to the US to do some riding over there, and he's now announced on X that he will be retiring from racing in the US after this weekend's Breeders' Cup. So Breeders' Cup, as we'll get into, is on Friday and Saturday, but he said he'll retire from the US side of it. He's then going to do some rides down in South America, which is something that he's always wanted to do. But yeah, I mean, the man is into his 50s and still riding Group 1 winners all over the gaff. So what a career the man's had across just the entire globe. So, I mean, congratulations to Frankie on an amazing career. And it'll be gutting that you won't see him, because there was talk of him potentially going to Royal Ascot maybe next year for, one last, hurrah, as it were.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But again, you never know. He could surprise us, do a Tyson Fury and come out of retirement about 3 times over for another thing. But
he just wants another payday, doesn't he? And then off to somewhere else.
Any excuse for a payday. So, but it'd be nice to see if he did come back. I certainly wouldn't be against it, that's for sure. Yeah. Or even if he joined ITV Racing or something as one of the
exactly
for Royal Ascot. I'm sure it won't be far away from a camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair play. I mean, it's good to see the longevity in the sport as well. So yeah,
100%. 100%.
All right. Well, this is quite fresh, isn't it? Recently. So, but I think it's good that we're covering it. And very sad news about Tommy Jakes. Yeah,
this is literally only just kind of broken, I think, in the last 2 or 3 hours. On filming on Thursday at 6. Very sad news that Tommy Jakes, who was he's a young amateur jockey, 19 years old. I think he was working under George Bowie, amongst a few others, but mainly for George Bowie. He sadly died. Reports that the lad took his own life. Which is obviously extremely hard for all concerned to hear. I think it just gives another reason as to why, youngsters obviously no idea what's going through people's heads, whatever age you are. And I think it's just another reason for getting people, especially guys, to speak up if you're in trouble and if you need someone just to talk to. Everyone's here. We're all here, and I'm sure his family will be supported through the Jockeys Fund. So, but yeah, very, very sad news indeed. A fantastic career ahead of him. It's just a shame to lose him so young.
Yeah, 19. Yeah, very young. It's a shame, real shame. It's actually what we spoke to George about, wasn't it, on the pod a couple of weeks ago? It's about a couple of months ago now. In terms of that mental aspect is quite challenging, and some of the things they have to put up with. It goes to show they're humans, and got to look after them. So.
Yeah, exactly that. I think, and I'm going to bang on the drum again of the Champions Full Gallop, but they made a very interesting point on there on the second episode from last week, where footballers or rugby players, whatever it might be, you lose a game, you have like a week or something to kind of recover, get over it, move on. Jockeys have 25 minutes normally before your next race. So the mental strength that the jockeys have to go through, I think, is again another unbelievable thing. Whether or not, and obviously, we don't know the ins and outs of it, and don't need to know the ins and outs of it. But if it was anything to do with racing or whatever it might have been, I mean, the strength of these guys is just unrivaled. So yeah, massive thoughts out to Tommy's family and all concerned parties.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to them.
So what happens at the photo finish?
They just
Stewards Enquiry.
Right, let's get on to Stewards Enquiry, shall we?
We shall.
Now, we were talking, what was it yesterday? Was it last week when we were talking about that, was it 100 to 1 winner at the...
Oh, yeah, the big
one
price winners at the Champions meet at Ascot.
Champions meet,
200 to 1 and 100 to 1.
I was trying to work out the odds for it, but I think it was something like if you had both in a double, it would have been
32,500 to 1.
32,500, yeah.
Yeah, small money.
Small money. Now, this is an interesting one. So, what's this one?
Yeah, so there was a massive blow up on X the other day, resulting from AK Bets. Tony Calvin, who's a very, very well renowned horse racing pundit, he's part of. But it wasn't anything necessarily to do with him. It's more to do with the with AK Bets himself. So a punter had placed 2 not large bets, 20 quid bets on the American football with AK Bets on the anytime touchdown market. Yeah, didn't have big money on it, say £20 on each one. The prices of the 2 guys that he backed for the anytime touchdowns were 11 to 2 and 2 to 1. And they were clearly the best odds on the market when Odds Checker was used. After he'd placed the bets, AK Bets then decided that the prices that they had were stale. They'd been apparently outdated by a few hours, and the odds weren't fair based on how they priced. Basically, they were, every other market or every other betting company had these 2 guys priced up at, I think it was around 7 to 2, 10 to 3, something like that, and about 13 to 8 maybe. So his bets were changed to marry up to the live market, and then the guy's account was subsequently closed. And the guy who this was relating to, who was the poor victim, I guess, of this, had tweeted AK Bets, and the CEO didn't really do himself any favors. This is Anthony Kamsikas, if you can say his name right.
Yeah.
He didn't really help himself. And to be fair, on their podcast they did earlier on this week, he clearly admitted that he had made a mistake in how he'd responded to this guy by saying that they are how did he refer to it? They're organ grinders, not monkeys, I think is how he described it. Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, it wasn't the best idea. And he
I bet his comms team were having a right fit at that time.
I imagine so. I mean, it's like I say, he admitted it completely himself, but he said that he didn't buy that the punter wasn't aware that these prices were stale, and he'd made the comments on the next one good enough. But what gets me with this is the fact that, they're in charge of running their odds, like, no one else. If your odds are on there and the guy's seen him and he's taking advantage of that, that's on you, not him.
It's your own fault.
He's taking the prices as they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. This happens a lot in terms of, and they went into a lot of detail on the AK Bets podcast, which you can see on YouTube. But for the first half an hour of it, they were talking through this, and every betting company is guilty of closing accounts for this activity around betting on, like, whatever market you're looking at, where prices are, say, 2 or 3 points bigger on one market than another. And if you're doing that consistently, you're going to get flagged and you're going to get closed down as a result. But I think this is quite a unique, in a way, I think it's quite unique in the fact that they're not exactly like thousands of pounds of bets that this guy's put on. They're 20 quid bets. And I think they have realised that the handling of how they handled the whole process wasn't particularly brilliant. And the tweet that the CEO had done to this guy was subsequently taken down. As I went to go and have a look at it earlier on to quote it, but it was removed. But it was quoted on their podcast. So it was quoted on the podcast earlier on this week. But yeah, it really doesn't look good for betting companies when they start doing this. You take your odds. If it'd been the other way around or something like that,
it's the trust that.
Exactly. Like the amount of money that they potentially will lose now with punters now going elsewhere because, of something like this that's happened. I mean, who knows? It could be small, it could be big. But, the amount of people that are responding saying, I'm never going to bet with these guys again, that kind of stuff. And it doesn't elicit a whole lot of trust when, you take a price on something and then you're told, oh no, the price was stale, we hadn't updated our markets. Okay, then there's something for you to look at for the future, but you should at least honour this.
Your own. And it's not like they lost millions. Like, it's 20 quid bets.
Yeah, exactly. And they said they get asked, like, if a market is moved, someone might email them or, contact them to say, can I have X amount on, whatever it might be, whatever the market is at this price? And they might do it. And, they want that kind of stuff. this is the kind of thing that you maybe say, FYI, that, these prices were stale. We'll honour these bets for you, But then they need to look at this themselves. It's not this guy's fault.
Exactly.
Punter's seen the prices and gone, okay, you're clearly the best odds. I'm going to back that. Why would you go anywhere else? That's why Odds Checker is around, so you can see these type of things.
Yeah, use Odds Checker, yeah.
Exactly.
Although you have to pay for that now, don't you?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, don't get El started on it. Christ, I can already hear him going up on my ear roll.
He's not here, is he?
Exactly like that.
Well, interesting though. You've got to stay. You've got to keep to your trusted companies. So
Yeah, exactly that. So
not great.
No, exactly. It doesn't do them any favors. But like I say, I mean, many betting companies do this kind of thing, but I think this case has just blown up this week as a result of it. It hasn't made them look very good.
No, it hasn't. I haven't actually heard about. I haven't seen AK bets too much around. They don't really do too much advertising, do they?
No, I don't know how big they are from a company size. You see them a lot on X, but it's only because I follow Tony Calvin, who I rate as a punter, as he's pretty honest and very shrewd punter, and he does a lot of work for his picks and things. But that's the only reason I kind of saw this was flagged as a result.
Yeah,
but they did address it well. Hopefully it's a move on at some stage, but I think the guy's he was pretty sour grapes.
Good. All right. Thanks, mate. Let's get into the Wetherby Charlie Hall chase, shall we? So I guess just as a bit of a reminder, so this is sponsored by Bet365, isn't it? I think now, yeah.
It is.
A Grade 2 national hunt up in Yorkshire in Wetherby. So it'll be a bit chilly up there and a bit wet, I reckon, this weekend. But let's see. What's the weather watch, Duncan?
Mate, I haven't even checked. So let me have a quick look now. I know. I need to get better at this. But
why are you doing that? I'll do a bit of an intro of it then, shall I? So
go for it.
Steeplechase. So it's for horses aged 5 years and older. And I think the course is just over 3 miles, so decent sized course. And yeah, there's decent purse, 100k or something. Nothing like the Breeders' Cup coming up next, but quite an interesting one. And yeah, Charlie Hall, for those that don't know, is a prominent national hunt trainer back in the day. So
there we are. There you go. So you've taken over El there with your trivia, mate. I like it.
Well, I'm trying to, mate. I'm trying to get into it.
Robbing El of all of his glory now of taking on the stuff. I mean,
the weather what's the weather then?
Well, the weather, to be fair, from what I'm seeing on the Met Office, checking at the moment, it looks fairly dry for Friday and Saturday. So they've obviously got a bit of rain now at the moment, but it does look fairly dry going into tomorrow and Saturday. So
it's going good. So
yeah, the racing ground at the moment is currently good. Whether or not that will probably no doubt change. So I've gone on the basis of it being good to soft, something like that, maybe potentially good soft in places.
There's your top tip. Good to soft.
Yeah, good to soft potentially, but who bloody knows? So UK weather at its finest.
So we've got two tips, haven't we? So we've got the 222 and then we've got the 257, which is the big one.
Yes.
Which is actual 3 mile chase. So let's start with the Bet365 hurdle, shall we?
Yeah, so you've got the equivalents. You've got one over the hurdles and then one over the chase. Obviously, the Charlie Hall chase being the kind of the bigger one of the two, you'd probably say. But yeah, the 222 Bet365 hurdle over 3 miles. No surprise that I've gone with the favourite strong leader. It was 2-1.
I can see the comments coming in now.
I know, yeah.
Always picking the bloody
Always picking the fav. So, yeah, no, I have done. It was 2-1 the other day. He's now best priced at 13-8. The horse is 8 years old and he's only run 16 times across the course of his career. So, extremely lightly race and very, very low mileage. It's his first time out of the season, but he does go very well fresh. And the ground, for me, as we just said, doesn't look like a concern if it was good or soft. He's won on both. It's really just a shame that there's only a 5-runner field here. But for me, Ollie Murphy and Sean Bowen, that combination at the moment is just a joke. Ollie Murphy's running at a strike rate of 43%, and Sean Bowen, who is the current champion jockey, and I mean, unless touchwood, touchwood, he doesn't get struck by lightning or something, he'll do it. He'll do it again this season. I'm sorry if I've just put him to death to rights there, but I mean, he's just anything he gets on at the moment, the guy is just winning. It is absolutely ridiculous how good he is. So I think strong leader has definitely got the best chance, and obviously being the favourite, they can see that in the market. If you did want to play a small each way on something, because there are 5 runners, so you can still get 2 places. Dan Skelton's runner, Take No Chances, is currently 5-1. You either do it as a win only, or you could probably do a shit nuts 5-1 each way bet. So it's a shot to nothing.
Can't do an each way bet on the
5-run
race.
You could do that. You just get your money back if it finishes second. So it's up to you. But the horse has already had a run. The mare ran in last year's listed race on the same card at Wetherby. So yeah, I think, you know, from what Dan Skelton said, his horses always seem to come on more after the first run. So the fact that this horse has kind of had that prep, got the fitness, potentially has a fitness edge over Strong Leader, could be a bet 5-1 as well. But Strong Leader would be the main fancy.
I fancy Potter's Charm for this.
Is that a newbie nap, is it?
That's a newbie's nap.
Newbie's nap, here we go. So we got 3 out of 5 then. So if none of these 3 win, we are literally shit.
I think if none of those 3 win, we should close down tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm giving up on this pod. I'm sure people will be buzzing.
Elle would be proud. In the 2 weeks he's been away, we've closed down shop.
Yeah, exactly. We've shut up shop. We've taken business elsewhere.
I guess it's pretty much, it's not the Fav, but it's pretty much up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 9-4, I think. Potter's.
Yeah, it's up there.
What's your reason for backing? Talk to me.
Well, I've had success with Potter's Charm before. I think it was at Cheltenham previously.
Okay.
I don't know when that was. I think it was last year. But it's had a good start to the year.
Strong
Aintree done well. Cheltenham done well. Last race out, not too good, but I haven't seen that back yet. But yeah, I don't know. I just got a good feeling about Potter's Charm.
I was saying it ran last time in the Brown Advisory. At Cheltenham,
Yeah, that would have been it.
Finishing
That would have
5th. Were we? Well, I know. What day was that? That would have been. Were you just there on the Tuesday?
Yeah.
Of Cheltenham. I think this was on the Wednesday.
Okay.
Sorry, it wasn't a Brown Advisory.
I remember going deep on it. That's what I
Absolutely Billy Big Bollocks and instant regret. Instant regret of that.
I think, yeah.
I mean, definitely got strong form around that. So, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed for you, mate. Fingers crossed.
Cheers, mate. Heard it here first. Right, let's get on to Charlie Hill Chase and then we'll close on the Breeders, shall we? So This is the big one. Yes, I can see
your favourite horse in there.
My favourite.
Your favourite. How'd you say it?
Protector Rat.
Never gets old. As soon as I started writing, I said, Protector Rat.
Protector Rat. There's a rat in my kitchen.
It never gets old. So yeah, Charlie Hall Chase over
That's all you
3
need to
miles.
know. That's all you need to know, isn't it? Next.
Yeah. I had a look through this race. Again, there's only 6 runners, which is a real shame because, I mean, I am playing in each way here, as you'll find out shortly. But on ratings, let's say the Fav Protector protects. I can't say other than Protectorat now. Protectorat is clear and also has to carry a few pounds less than all the others. So you definitely think on ratings and also having to carry less weight, you think the horse does have a chance.
Yeah.
Well, a very, very good chance, not just a chance. What was kind of, again, it will depend on the ground for me with that horse because the horse does seem to be ground dependent. You go back over its form and most wins are coming on soft ground. So it does have a bit of cut in the ground. So it really does depend how they classify the ground come Saturday to see how well this horse will do. Won't mind having had a break because the horse has won it for, I think it was the first couple of years back. It was winning races from after a break. However, I am siding with the Real Whacker, which is currently 7-1. Won the race last year. Has had a prep run already about 3 weeks ago, finishing second by 3.5 lengths. I think they know what they were doing with this horse, getting it ready for this again. Hopefully be race fit. So I think 7-1. Again, I'm going to sound like such an after-timer here, but I did back at anti-post, so I do get 3 places at 7-1. So sorry, not sorry. I still think 7-1 is definitely decent odds.
Sorry, what did you have it? Anti-post?
7-1, 3 places. So the same.
3 places though.
Yeah, the 3 places. So I've got 3 places on it.
Nice.
But yeah, I think Real Whacker for me at 7-1.
Yeah, all right. Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Good. All right, let's get on to the Breeders' Cup then. So this is in California, San Diego.
A whale's vagina.
A whale's vagina. Fuck you, San Diego. And apparently it's one of the richest 2-day sports in the diary, in the calendar. Total purse, 34 million. That's a big old total purse. And we'll go through maybe the individual races. Yeah, but that's a big wedge. You can see why old Frankie's there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Over 14 races as well over a couple of days. So starts this weekend. And I guess it's considered as one of the top races or the sort of the world championships for the thoroughbreds in North America. It brings together horses from across the pond, from Europe, from US, obviously Japan and other areas. So yeah, looks quite a big one.
It's the first time I think that they can actually say, because no disrespect to any Americans that listen to this, they call themselves in like basketball and stuff world champions and things.
Oh yeah,
Is
classic.
there any freaking? They're the ones that do the sport. Whether
The
this,
world
they actually
champions for
have
the
other countries and stuff competing in these events. So yes, I would
Yeah.
agree that they can call it some form of world championship if they want to.
Guess what we like. Good.
Anorak over now.
And the big race is $7 million.
Yeah, so a
for a
minimum
winner.
purse. Yeah, I think it's about
That'll
just
do.
shy of $3 million. I think to the winner.
Yeah. Okay.
Not bad
It's
going.
so we'll post up the schedule then. Yeah, starting. So we're filming this on Thursday the 30th. So it starts tomorrow. So Friday the 31st, finishes on Saturday, the 1st of November. But yeah, God, there's quite a lot of races, and there's quite a lot of consistent prize money. Everything's above $1 million.
Yeah.
And then you got 7 million, which is the classic, which is on Saturday. Yeah, the course then. So we were chatting about this before we started. It does look tiny. It's like it's like a little velodrome.
I had to check this, because I looked at the 5 furlong marker where it's on here, and I was like, hang on a minute, how was you got to go around the entire bend in order to get back to the finishing post? I was like, you look at the UK and most other race courses in Europe and things like that, and it's just a straight 5, 6 or 7 furlongs.
Yeah.
This, you've got a bloody 180 handbrake turn to deal with first.
So you start top right. No,
Yeah.
bottom left.
Yeah,
top
yeah,
right.
yeah. For the 5 furlong, you're starting top right hand side,
Yeah,
and you got to go all the way around that bend to
all
come
the way around
straight
the
back
bend to the
Yeah.
finish.
to the
And
finish.
if you're doing, let's say, the 1 mile 4,
Mm-hmm.
you do 2 laps basically,
Yeah, is it 1.5 laps?
1.5 laps.
Yeah,
So you got 1, 2, 3 bends and then the straight. Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
yeah. So
So
I think it's
That
very
would
much geared
favour
up
the
horses.
draws. Yeah.
100%. This is why I was when I was looking at potential bets, and yeah, I mean, one of the ones I've actually done in the 5 furlong, I mean, it may get absolutely butchered because it looks to be drawn slightly wide on it, but I'll give it a go anyway and see what
Go on
happens.
then. What have you got?
I mean, so the first one I've got is I've only looked at Saturdays. I mean, there's 14
Yeah.
races across the course of the thing, all Group 1s, but I've had a look. The first one I've looked at is the 1941, which is the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, which is over 5 furlongs. And I've picked, I assume it's called Ag Bullet, unless you say AG Bullet. I'm not sure if how you want to say it. So that's currently 5-1. And this is the trouble with this one. It's drawn stall 8, which obviously fairly wide. And considering how sharp this track is on that bend, you don't want to be out wide really on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suspect. Trying to have an inside stall would probably be your best bet. And the favourite, which is currently 4-1, has the inside trap. But it really depends how well the horse breaks.
Number 1?
Yeah, stall 1 right on the inside. So
Yeah. Okay.
it really depends how well the horse breaks, if he can get over in time. But yeah, as long as he can handle the bend okay and he's not kind of wayward around that, I think the horse can go very, very close. He finished 3rd in the race last year by, I think it was not even half a length. I think it was probably a shoulder in it from 1st to 3rd. Potentially the horse, I'd like to think that the horse could go back and win it this time instead. So yeah, AG Bullet at 5-1 in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
Lovely. And how quick do you think they're doing these races then? So that's 5 furlongs. So
Yeah,
what,
they
a
classify it
minute?
on, because obviously we have like good to firm, like firm ground and stuff like that. But their classification of it is different. They call it like fast.
Okay.
So all of their stuff seems to be fast ground. You look at when it's on dirt, for example, and it's raining, they call it sloppy. It
The
is
good
a
old
very,
literal American English.
oh yeah, exactly, slop.
Absolute
So
slop fest.
yeah, they refer to it as fast ground, but I'm not actually sure what the speed times are for these things in terms of how quick, because that bend, this is why I think you've got to be a fairly speedy horse rather than like even on the 1 mile 4 like turf side of things. Doesn't really matter. It's not. I don't feel it's built for horses that have stamina or want stamina. It's built for horses that have speed, because they're going to go slow around the
Yeah.
bend and then kick off it and like break into a sprint more so. So yeah, if you've got a horse that's kind of built for that, then your quid's in with any
Good.
luck.
Yeah. Let's do the 9. These times, is that the local time?
No, this is our time, UK time.
UK time. UK time.
UK.
9:41. Breeders' Cup Turf.
Yeah. So this is over 12 furlongs.
Is this the
or
big
to-
one?
No. The Breeders' Cup Classic is the one
that's the
underneath
next one.
that. It's
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
the
cool.
main one. But yeah, so over the 12 furlongs, or to any person who deals not in the metric system side of things, it'll be 1 mile and 4. Mini Hawk is the favourite for the incredible Aidan O'Brien. Has the best form throughout any of the horse I could see. Second in the Arc earlier on in October, which is insane for only finishing down by a head. But quite easily win this race for Aidan O'Brien, who's won this race on its own 7 times. So the man really does target Breeders' Cup with his horses. 11 to 10, I can imagine this horse going off as odds on by the time this comes round. So I think 11 to 10 isn't a bad price in all honesty. The other one, if you want an each way, was Amalok. For Rafe Beckett, and I think it's Ross O'Ryan is on board. The horse is coming down a trip. It was running over a mile 6 last time out at the Irish St Leger, which clearly didn't stay because he finished 4 lengths off of first place, even though he finished second. I feel like the optimum trip coming back down to the 1 mile 4 is obviously a very, very good idea. And I think the 14 to 1, I think the horse could just outrun his odds. So I'd put Amalok up as an each way alongside Mini Hawk.
All right. And then we'll finish on the big one. I mean, I say that wasn't the big one, but that was 5 mil, that purse.
Yeah.
So for the Breeders' Cup turf.
Pennies, mate. Pennies.
Pennies, mate. God, if he's won it, how many times did you say that trainer's won it?
Aidan O'Brien's won it 7 times.
7 times. So he's probably netted about 20 mil. Just from
I mean,
Cup.
his Mini Hawk. So this is what we were talking about when we went on to, we were talking about the breeders and things like that, and how much
the
owners
yes.
and stuff like that. So it makes Mini Hawk is owned by Coolmore. So Coolmore is obviously a stud, and they have their own stud. So they are literally making money hand over fist. So if they win, they're just making more money. So they'll be taking home 70% of that purse of $5 million, and then a bit of it will go to Aidan O'Brien. Obviously, a bit goes to the jockey, all the rest of it. But they'll take a sizable wedge home with them, just to add to their boatload that they've already won.
Yeah, there we go. Also, go and watch that Breeders video. Is quite interesting how sort of the business side of breeding and some of the crazy amount of cash you can make if you get 1 or 2 wins and you're sorted.
Yeah.
So
you get a couple of graded races under your belt and you're laughing basically.
You're right, pumping out the cash.
Yeah, absolutely right. Much. Yeah, not just cash you're pumping out.
Yeah, right. Let's get on to talking of breeders. Let's get on to the final Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah,
this is the big one, the 7 mil one.
7 mil race. So Breeders' Cup Classic on at 10:25 on Saturday night. So there was a little bit of a bit of a thing in the news earlier on this week. So Sovereignty, which is a Godolphin horse, was favourite for this, a very clear favourite, very short odds. That's the horse I probably would have backed had it not been for the fact that there was a report that the horse had a minor fever.
Okay.
And there was a potential for it not to run as a result of that unless the horse was 100%. As it turns out, the horse is now a non-runner, so it hasn't made it into this. So cunningly, as I am, as the sly fox that I am, I decided to back Fierceness the other day before this horse was taken out. So I backed the horse Fierceness at 5 to 1 for an absolute shit nuts, 5 to 1 each way on it, just in case Sovereignty was in there, because I expect this horse to still place regardless. But I backed that. Fierceness is now into 3 to 1 favourite or joint favourite along with Sierra Leone, who won the race last year. But the reason I've gone for Fierceness is he's been there. I mean, he came second in the race last year to Sierra Leone, but looking at the current form, I mean, this horse hacked up in Del Mar last time out by 3 1/4 lengths over course and distance. I mean, like I say, it just depends on what happens on the day, but he's drawn well. And I just thought at the odds at the time, I thought, 5 to 1, it's worth a go. 3 to 1 against Sierra Leone, I think you could have it between the two of them. But I would say Fierceness is my pick from the two that were there.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, mate. Well, we're finished on that, shall we?
Yes, absolutely.
Good to catch up. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and let us know what you like about this podcast. Send us your comments, drop us an email or comment on our social media. So we're on Instagram, TikTok, X. We're also on YouTube, Apple and Spotify. And then we've also got tailedoffpod@gmail.com. But yeah, please drop us your message, drop us your questions, and we'll cover those each week. We should be joined by Elle, I think, next week. So it'd be good to have 3 of us back together. Yeah, big one next week.
Big one. Tune in for that.
Tune in
all
for
the way
that.
through the national hunt season.
Yes, and the big run up to Cheltenham, and then we've got some special guests coming up as well, which should be good.
We have over the next few 6 weeks or so. So yeah, tune in to hear more.
Lovely. So if you like this podcast, please please share, and until next time, have fun out there. Race hard, race smart, and try not to be tailed off. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Position. Any power at the last race down. Any power has gone, but in front of the last lens. Melody
By the first time, running up towards the finish, and he's mistaken the winning post. He's mistaken the winning post completely, Roger Loughlin.